Welcome to Royal Coin Value. In today's video, we are going to take a deep dive into the fascinating world of United States coinage. We will explore two very important coins, the 1967 quarter dollar and the 1983 D quarter dollar. Both of these coins might look like ordinary pocket change at first glance, but they each carry unique history, hidden details, and surprising collector value. From the design and composition to the economic reasons behind their minting, we'll uncover everything you need to know. So stay tuned till the end, because this journey into coin history is going to be full of knowledge and exciting facts, only here on Royal Coin Value. Today we will explore the complete history, design, and value of the 1967 quarter dollar in detail. The 1967 quarter dollar is one of the most interesting coins in United States numismatic history, mainly because of the historical events surrounding its production. It was struck during a period when the U.S. Mint was struggling with a national coin shortage and an economic shift away from using silver in regular circulating coinage. To understand the significance of the 1967 quarter, one has to consider the political, economic, and cultural background of the mid-1960s in America. The quarter was minted without a mint mark, meaning it is impossible to distinguish whether it was produced in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. This was an intentional decision by the mint to discourage coin hoarding, as people were collecting coins with certain mint marks in hopes that they would increase in value. The mint wanted to ensure that these quarters stayed in circulation and helped stabilize the coin supply during that critical period. The design of the 1967 quarter follows the classic Washington quarter design, which was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The obverse, or front side, of the coin features a portrait of George Washington facing left. The word liberty is boldly inscribed above his head, and the motto "In God We Trust" is positioned to the left. The date 1967 is centered below the bust. Unlike earlier silver quarters, the 1967 issue was made from a clad composition of copper and nickel, with an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core. This change had been introduced in 1965 when the mint completely eliminated silver from quarters, dimes, and eventually half dollars for circulation. The purpose was to cut costs and preserve the Treasury's silver reserves. Thus, the 1967 quarter represents part of this transitional period in American coinage. On the reverse side of the 1967 quarter, the familiar heraldic eagle design dominates the coin. The eagle has its wings spread, symbolizing strength and vigilance. It perches on a bundle of arrows, signifying military readiness, while below it is an olive branch, symbolizing peace. Above the eagle are the words United States of America and E pluribus unum, the Latin motto meaning out of many, one. Below the eagle appears the denomination, quarter dollar. This reverse design was created by John Flanagan, who originally designed the Washington quarter in 1932, and it remained in use until the 1999 launch of the 50-state quarters program. In terms of mintage and circulation, the 1967 quarter was produced in extremely high numbers. The mint struck over 1.5 billion quarters in that year alone. This huge production number was intended to counteract the coin shortage that plagued the early 1960s. Since no mint marks were used, all 1967 quarters look identical regardless of where they were struck. Because of this high mintage, the 1967 quarter is not considered rare in circulated condition, and most examples are still found in pocket change today. However, collectors value higher-grade coins, especially those with pristine surfaces, full details, and no wear. Uncirculated and proof-like examples can command higher prices, particularly when graded by professional services such as PCGS or NGC. One unique aspect of the 1967 quarter is the Special Mint Set (SMS) version. Instead of producing proof coins from 1965 to 1967, the U.S. Mint released special mint sets, which included coins struck with greater care and sharper detail than regular circulation coins, but not quite at the same level as proofs. The 1967 SMS quarter has a distinctive satin-like finish and is often sought after by collectors. These coins are more valuable than ordinary circulation strikes, especially in higher grades, and they serve as a reminder of this experimental period in U.S. coin production. The historical significance of the 1967 quarter also lies in its role as a transitional coin. It marked the third year since the removal of silver, representing the new era of copper-nickel-clad coinage. Many Americans at the time resisted this change, feeling that the new clad coins were less valuable and less attractive than their silver predecessors. Nonetheless, the shift was necessary for economic stability, as the increasing value of silver made it impractical to continue minting silver coins for circulation. The 1967 quarter is thus a symbol of both economic adjustment and the modernization of U.S. coinage. In terms of collector value, the 1967 quarter in circulated condition is generally only worth its face value of 25 cents. However, high-grade mint state examples, especially those graded MS-67 or higher, can be worth significantly more, sometimes ranging from $50 to several $100 depending on demand and quality. The SMS versions can also bring premiums, with particularly high-grade specimens commanding strong prices at auction. Some rare-era coins from 1967, such as double dies, off-center strikes, or coins struck on wrong planches, are also highly collectible and can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on rarity and condition. Finally, the legacy of the 1967 quarter is one of endurance. Even though billions were made, and most survive in circulation, it represents a vital chapter in American numismatic history. It tells the story of how the nation adapted its coinage system during times of economic difficulty, ensuring that the public had enough coins for daily use while preserving valuable resources like silver for other needs. Collectors today may not see the 1967 quarter as a rare or exceptionally valuable coin in most cases, but its role in history makes it a fascinating collectible. For new collectors, it is an accessible piece of U.S. coinage to study, while for advanced numismatists, the high-grade and SMS examples provide challenging and rewarding finds. Let's uncover the complete history, design, and value of the 1983 D Washington quarter dollar. The 1983 D quarter dollar is a significant coin in the history of American numismatics because it reflects the economic and cultural trends of the early 1980s. Minted at the Denver Mint, as indicated by the D Mint mark, this coin is part of the long-running Washington quarter series, which began in 1932. By 1983, the Washington quarter had already become one of the most familiar coins in circulation, symbolizing the stability of U.S. currency and the nation's dedication to honoring its first president, George Washington. Unlike earlier quarters that contained silver, the 1983 D quarter is composed of copper and nickel in a clad structure, reflecting the permanent transition that had taken place in the mid-1960s when silver was eliminated from most circulating U.S. coins. The design of the 1983 D quarter continues the traditional Washington quarter look, which remained unchanged for decades. The obverse, or front, of the coin features the left-facing bust of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. Above Washington's head is the word Liberty, a constant reminder of the founding principles of the nation. To the left of the bust is the national motto, "In God We Trust," which has appeared on all U.S. coins for many decades. Below Washington's image is the date 1983, along with the D Mint mark to the right, confirming that this coin was struck at the Denver Mint. This design is simple, yet powerful, connecting every American citizen with the nation's first leader each time the coin was used in daily transactions. Turning to the reverse of the 1983 D quarter, the coin continues with John Flanagan's original design from 1932. The heraldic eagle is depicted with its wings spread wide, symbolizing freedom, strength, and protection. The eagle clutches a bundle of arrows, signifying military readiness and defense, while an olive branch beneath it represents the country's desire for peace. Above the eagle are the inscriptions United States of America and the national motto E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one. Below the eagle lies the denomination, clearly stated as quarter dollar. This design, while not as intricate as later commemorative quarters, has a classic and dignified appearance, and it remained on U.S. quarters until the launch of the 50-state quarters program in 1999. In terms of mintage and circulation, the 1983 D quarter was produced in massive quantities. Over 617 million quarters were struck at the Denver Mint alone in 1983, making it one of the most common quarters of its time. These coins were widely used in everyday commerce, from vending machines to bus fares, meaning that most surviving examples show significant wear. Unlike earlier silver quarters, the 1983 D quarter had no intrinsic metal value beyond its face value, since it was struck from the copper-nickel clad alloy. Because of its enormous production numbers, the coin is not rare in circulated condition and is still commonly found in pocket change today. However, What makes the 1983 D quarter particularly interesting to collectors is that no official mint sets or proof sets were issued in 1982 or 1983. This unusual gap occurred because the US Mint chose not to produce collector sets in those years. As a result, the only way for collectors to obtain high-quality 1983 D quarters was to save them directly from circulation or find them in uncirculated rolls or bags. This makes uncirculated, high-grade examples especially desirable today, as fewer were preserved in pristine condition compared to other years. For this reason, the 1983 D quarter in top mint state grades can carry a premium value far above its face value. When evaluating the collector value, circulated 1983 D quarters are usually worth only their face value of 25 cents. However, uncirculated examples graded MS65 or higher can range in value from $15 to $50, while superbly preserved specimens graded MS67 or above can reach into the hundreds of dollars at auctions. These values reflect the scarcity of high-grade coins due to the absence of official mint sets in 1983. Additionally, rare errors and varieties from the 1983 D quarter are especially valuable. Examples include off-center strikes, double die obverses or reverses, and coins struck on the wrong planchette. Such minting errors can turn a common coin into a highly sought-after rarity worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on the error type and condition. The historical significance of the 1983 D quarter also connects to the broader economic climate of the 1980s. The early part of the decade was marked by inflation, changing consumer habits, and the continued modernization of coinage technology. Quarters from this period reflect a nation transitioning into a more modern financial system, with coins playing a critical role in daily transactions. Although paper money and electronic payment systems were becoming more common, coins like the 1983 D quarter remained essential for vending, transportation, and small purchases. It serves as a snapshot of American economic life in the Reagan era, representing stability and trust in the U.S. currency system. Another fascinating aspect of the 1983 D quarter is how it fits into the long timeline of the Washington Quarter series. From its beginning in 1932, the Washington Quarter had been intended as a one-year commemorative issue but proved so popular that it became a permanent part of U.S. coinage. By 1983, the design had been in circulation for over 50 years with only minor changes, making it one of the longest-running designs in American numismatic history. This sense of tradition gave the 1983 D quarter familiarity and recognition among the public, while also adding to its numismatic appeal for collectors seeking a continuous series. In conclusion, the 1983 D quarter dollar may seem like an ordinary coin at first glance due to its widespread circulation and enormous mintage. However, its true value lies in its context. The absence of official mint sets makes uncirculated examples highly desirable to collectors, while rare era varieties offer exciting opportunities for specialists. Its design connects back to George Washington and John Flanagan's classic portrait, while its composition reflects the enduring shift away from silver coinage. Whether viewed as a common piece of pocket change or as a collectible in pristine condition, the 1983 D quarter tells an important story of American coinage in the 1980s, a story of tradition, transition, and economic resilience. That brings us to the end of our detailed look at the 1967 quarter dollar and the 1983 D quarter dollar. These coins may seem common, but their background tells a story of transition, history, and collectible potential. Whether it's the 1967 quarter that marked the end of silver coinage, or the 1983 D quarter that became special because no official mint sets were made that year, each has its own legacy. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare and valuable coins, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Royal Coin Value. Don't forget to comment below which coin you found more interesting, and we'll see you again with more amazing coin stories, only on Royal Coin Value.